Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the All Star Wrestling Review Series for September 12th, 1981. We continue our foray through these. We've got, I don't know, about maybe another 15, 20 episodes, something like that, maybe 25 at most, but in the remainder of 81 and into 82. But we've got literally 120 plus of them now. As mentioned, this is the September 12th edition of the program. September 12th, kind of more matches than normal. Don Morocco defeating Terry Gunn, 541. Morocco, of course, your Intercontinental Champion. Morocco, certainly a guy who, at this particular juncture, is a guy that you got to kind of take a little seriously because he is one of the top heels, if not the top heel, according to some people anyway, in the circles that were watching at the time in the area. Of course, Gunn has been doing enhancement work for quite a while. The Grand Wizard is a guy who is not willing to take too many backward steps. Morocco takes his man down, punch kick, very basic maneuvers, double underhook suplex, and floats him over kind of the butterfly style. Morocco manages to get a couple of punches and kicks in and then goes for that top rope splash. Odd that he would feud with throughout late 82, early 83, Jimmy Snuka, who would do the Superfly splash. The dropping of the knee and the kind of return of the Adriatic spike, although the modified tombstone piledriver and the splash, as well as backbreakers, getting more of an advantage. And again, Morocco coming off the top rope. Morocco certainly bumping around a lot in that ring at the time. Then we move to the next in the series of matches, which happens to be a more, I guess you'd say, I wouldn't even say robust affair, but Pedro Morales defeating Johnny Rods 624 in the next match. Morales and Rods have wrestled what seems like 1,000 times over these years, and again, Pedro Morales, former Intercontinental Champion, one of the first Intercontinental Champions. Rods always here to kind of test out the temerity of the individuals. Morales kind of sending his guy into the buckle. Rods manages to miss a diving knee drop and kind of doesn't get what he wants on that. Pedro Morales still seen as, because of the ethnic diversity of the area, the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New England areas, seen as a guy that you could put on top of almost any situation, even though he's been around since the 60s. So almost, 15, almost 20 years into the sport by this point. And Roz tries to get things to go back around. A backslide gets the victory for Pedro Morales. And Morales signs autographs post-match. He talks to the fans in Spanish, talks about wanting to be champion again, talks about wanting hands back on Don Morocco and other things. Then we go to Greg Valentine, a man who is getting ready for a series of matches with the world champion Bob Backlund at the time, facing Lee Wong, 608. Not necessarily sure that this match needed 6 minutes, but it gets it anyway. And that leads to Valentine obviously getting more time than average. Of course, Valentine brought out by the Grand Wizard of Wrestling, Ernie Roth, and manages to do a good bit of damage, coming out with the green robe. Works over the arm of Wong and then kind of takes him down, throws him over the top rope, which for the time, over the top rope in the NWA would be a disqualification, but not here in the WWF. Valentine sends the man to the parquet floor, and not exactly where he wants to be. Cinches up on the arm and tries to get things as aggressive and assertive as possible to his liking, and then Valentine again manages to cinch up the suplex, doesn't get everything he wants, hits a diving knee on his adversary here, and Valentine then continues to ultimately get the figure four, which continues to be his main hold for the next several years, and will go after his opponent upon occasion after the matches with that same maneuver. Extra punishment to be had. Then we go to the next in the series of matches here, which happens to be Mr. Fuji and Mr. Saito defeating Dominic DeNucci. and I'm sorry, um, nope, Robert Soto and Jerry Johnson, 737 here, jumped ahead in my book here, and so um, Ron Soto has been around mainly as a one level above an enhancement talent. I wouldn't say enhancement because Soto has been given some competitive matches, but Soto getting an opportunity to be more of a featured star here, hanging on to headlocks a little longer, not exactly getting the crowd completely behind him, but again, 40 years ago could get more out of less and is a um useful thing and a positive thing, a progressive thing there. We then see kind of the trip by Soto. Soto taking the man down, trying to get everything he can out of the maneuvers as they were, and hard shots by the opponent. Soto eventually does get the victory with roll ups and more basic maneuvers. Then we go to the last match of the day, which happens to be the Executioner, which is Ron Shaw. Ron Shaw in all blue, singlet and mask. Executioner looking like a big guy here, and they're trying to get ready for, I think, the John Studd Killer Kowalski Executioner's team. But Shaw probably given a little bit of extra run with that particular gimmick, and kicks, punches, arm drags, and like from the Executioner. The Executioner gimmick is pretty big in the WWF for the next probably, I don't know, 10, maybe a little more than that, years, as far as even using it on house shows. Masked guys generally under black hoods, although sometimes different colors. But the blue Executioners here in the time frame, the hip tosses, and the Executioner does get a victory. We don't see him too terribly much, but he does make appearances here and there. We'll be back with more right after this.